Let's discuss with Democratic Congressman Adam Smith of Washington, who's among those calling for President Biden to step aside and end his bid for the White House. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. Is there anything that President Biden can do at this point to change your position, to change your mind?
No, I mean, because you can't undo the debate, the 90 minutes of that debate, and you can't undo the response that came after the debate that frankly did little to quell the fears about Biden's ability to effectively communicate the message and also to transparently explain any concerns about his health. Those issues are baked in at this point, and it's simply my belief that another candidate would give us a much better chance to win because of that.
Do you agree with Leader Jeffries that Biden at the top of the ticket is not going to have a discernible impact on those most vulnerable House members in swing districts?
Hard to see how he wouldn't. I think there's a couple of issues there. One, of course, is, he's our ticket, and typically, that if the top of the ticket isn't good, that hurts down ballot. And the other problem we have is, and it's something that I would urge my colleagues who don't think that Joe Biden should step aside, let's come up with a message, okay? Because walking out and saying, well, he's running, so what are you going to do? That's not a strong message. And let me tell you, my position is we should have a different nominee. And I'm going to hold that position until Joe Biden or whoever is officially the nominee. But if Joe Biden is officially the nominee, I'm going to come out and say, I'm supporting Joe Biden, and I'm supporting Joe Biden because he's the best candidate in this race. His policies, everything he's going to do. Am I concerned about his health? Yes, I am concerned about his health. I know right now he can do the job. If we get to a point a year from now when he can't, there's a process in place for fixing that. But I'm going to support him because I think his policies are better and because I think Donald Trump is an existential threat to this country. But if all of these people out there who think that Joe Biden is not our best candidate, just sort of shrugging and going, what are you going to do? That's not going to fly.
Congressman, I'm curious about where you think this discussion is going, in part because you just said that if he becomes officially the nominee, you would support him. But it sounds like you still believe that his mind can be changed. The White House has given no indication of that.
Right. Look, I don't know. Yeah, I believe his mind can be changed, but more strongly, I believe we need a different nominee. And I can't in good conscience not try to work for that until it's no longer possible. Now, I've seen, what the leader said about, we're going to discuss the issue. We're going to have an ongoing conversation. I know Speaker Pelosi has a similar view, and maybe they'll have that conversation. But sadly, look, from the moment Joe Biden walked off that debate stage almost, 2 weeks ago now, there was only one thing to do. But Team Biden decided not to do it. They decided to hunker down and go forward. I don't know what information could be provided to them, because part of the problem is everybody's got a poll these days. All right? You can pick your favorite poll. It's like a Rorschach test. I don't think there's any question that when you have 2/3 of the country saying that he shouldn't run, when you have a majority of Democrats saying that he shouldn't run, in polls that the White House is touting as being a positive, I don't know. I've been doing politics for a long time. To me, that seems like a problem.
So you referenced that nationwide poll done by ABC News and the Washington Post. Nationally, it shows him tied with Donald Trump. You don't see that as an argument to keep him at the top of the ticket?
A whole bunch of other polls show worse, and the overall consensus within the poll. The thing you got to understand about polls, I don't know how ABC did their methodology, and the thing is, they don't care. All right? They're just trying to put a poll on the news. Their jobs aren't dependent upon it. It's not like a member of Congress running. The thing that needed to happen is an honest, full-on poll needed to be done. But again, the Biden team decided they didn't want to do that. They were going to hunker down and say whatever they had to say to protect Joe and go forward. They weren't going to give us an honest sort of, well, let's see. They're going to fight, and they're going to spin and spread whatever news they can to try to stay in this thing, as opposed to doing what I think they should have done, which Hakeem said, honestly assess where we're at and make the best choice for the party and the country.
It sounds, Congressman, like folks at the White House have also exerted a degree of pressure on certain Democrats, and I'm specifically referencing some reporting that's recently been put out in the last hour or so by CNN. A top Democrat saying that the president's closest advisors have responded to any criticism or concerns expressed about the president, including his age and fitness, by saying that everyone who expresses any level of suspicion or contrary views, they call everyone and beat the S out of them and say, stay on message. I'm wondering, since you were one of the 11 or so members that have come out asking President Biden to step aside, have you gotten a call from the White House or from other Democrats that have tried to sway you to keep your concerns private?
Well, it's kind of funny. I called them, as I've documented, the day after the debate, I called them. And look, I gave them 11 days. I didn't want to do this, all right? I wanted them to get the right decision themselves. And I've spoken to several people at the White House, people in the campaign. Nobody has affirmatively called me and said anything. But understand, that's part of the strategy. They targeted different parts of the caucus to shore up their support, and they didn't think of me as being gettable, if you will, for reasons that I'm really not going to get into. But yeah, no, I mean, they worked it from that angle. Like I said, from the day that debate got done, instead of saying, okay, what's best for the party, what's best for the country going forward, they said, we're going to defend Joe Biden. We're going to make sure that he stays the nominee no matter what. And, thus far, they've done a reasonably effective job of that. But if you have to expend that much energy at this point in the campaign just to keep Democrats on board, and keep in mind, it's not just us elected officials. It's your grassroots Democrats all across the country who are concerned, a majority of them. They have proven, Team Biden, that they can hold on, to the top part here, but can they win? I have serious doubts, and that's why I'm still saying this.
And Congressman, do you think President Biden's legacy would be tarnished if he doesn't step aside and then Democrats lose not only the White House but the Senate and don't grab control of the House?
Yes, but without any question.
Congressman Adam Smith, we have to leave the conversation there. Appreciate you coming on to share your perspective.